I think one of the best things out there is just going to be the possibility of just a little bit of frost just to get rid of some of the pollen that goes on because as of right now, I'm just really still having a lot of problems. What I really would like to have the first frost, but if we could just avoid getting everything too close to winter. I know Emily Casulo, my co-anchor, is out there probably not agreeing with that in total, but it is again that time of the year where we could see some decent chill coming our direction. We don't still have anything in the way of regards to frost anytime soon, but it definitely is getting cooler across much of the area, and we'll continue to see some very mild numbers out there, but beautiful over the last couple of days. These are the days that park benches were invented for, just to go out and enjoy the sunshine and the almost pure blue skies that we had across portions of the area today. A few clouds here and there, but otherwise not bad. Going into tomorrow, again, we've got some very nice conditions, but excuse me, again, pollen, excuse me. For the next couple of days, again, doesn't look too bad for right now. This is weather overtime. Let's go ahead and get going. I'll get off my soapbox here for a little bit. Temperatures near the top of the hour back in the 50s, heading for the 40s in some of the higher elevations, but otherwise a beautiful evening and going to continue to see less in the way of rain in the semi-near future. We have chances of rainfall out there. That's no question about that. But we do have the problem of not getting enough rainfall, and we need it because we are really, really having some problems out there with that. We'll show you the current fire map coming up here in just a little bit. Decently close to normal, way below on the temperatures this morning, nearly into the 30s for a little bit. Record high hasn't been broken for almost 100 years, and that was just below 90 degrees. Normal temperatures, we started off into the 90s in September. Now we're back into the 70s, so we are really starting to drop on these numbers and getting, again, some nicer conditions for the next couple of weeks before we work our way into around winter time coming up. We are still, and again, this is the major problem that we've got right now, the precipitation. In September, we picked up 9/100ths of an inch. What you see right there, as of today, that's all we've gotten in Chattanooga so far, and that is equal to everything we got in September by just minus about 100th of an inch or so. Now, going to the next several days, we still have about 10 days left, 12 days left, somewhere in there, about almost 2 weeks. So we do have the potential of picking up some more rainfall, but it's a good possibility we could be looking at some record dry temperatures if we don't pick up much of anything else. There are chances of rain coming our way into Thursday and Friday, but we're not talking about a lot. Past that, the next best potential of any rainfall is going to be right before Halloween, about roughly 2 weeks away. So we're not talking about a lot of really good amounts of rainfall out there. So for tomorrow, heading out to catch a fish, it does not look to be too bad of a problem. Good conditions according to the website. Southerly winds about 5 to 10. Scattered showers possible in the afternoon and evening. And that also goes for going out and hitting the links. That's where we're going to be seeing some dry conditions. Winds will pick up a little bit south at about 5 to 10. Temperatures back in the lower 70s, and a mild day coming up just below normal on the temperatures, so looking pretty good on that into tomorrow, so it doesn't seem to be a major concern for right now. Kids at the bus stop tomorrow morning, it will be brisk. Remember, that is a real stop sign on the side of the bus, so everybody stop to let the kids get to where they have to go. More clouds coming up into the rest of the day, starting in the morning. Chilly, but not quite as almost freezing as we saw a few days ago. By afternoon, we look for some very mild numbers, temperatures back in the lower 70s, and some scattered showers possible out there. This is the Greater Chattanooga Orthodontics bus stop forecast for Thursday, heading toward the end of the week, and we should be seeing again that potential of some rainfall out there by tomorrow afternoon. Not great chances. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. Thanks for joining us on Weather Overtime for tonight. If you have any questions, please just chime in and drop them to the chat function on Twitch. We are live there, and also into the comments section on Facebook Live if you're tuning in on that respect for right now. Again, this is our video weather blog. This is where we try to answer people's questions who might check in to see what's going on and to give you an idea as to what is happening out there with the weather situation. Island Cove Marina and Resort, not many clouds to speak of. Some decent stargazing for tonight. Big spider on the camera lens as the moon went down. We're going to be an interesting time lapse here to see what that looks like. Bailey's heating and air camera there. Plainview outdoor advertising camera. Some high thin clouds off in the distance, but otherwise decently quiet for the time being. We had a nice moonset and sunset over the top of Lookout Mountain, which you can just see off in the distance from the News 12 studio, so very nice look there. From Chattanooga Red Wolf Stadium, that from the Patriot Concrete camera. Thank you for being a sponsor there. Tomahawk crane and rigging camera. Lots of slowdowns due to lots of accidents around this area earlier tonight. So again, let's be careful out there. Thank you, Sergeant Phil, for that. Speedy's Total Car Care camera at the Chattanooga Theater Center overlooking Coolidge Park and the Tennessee River. Not a problem for tonight. Very calm, very quiet, and looks like it's going to stay that way for overnight. More chances of rainfall coming in as we go toward tomorrow afternoon. Right now, temperatures a bit on the brisk side, mid to upper 50s. Dew point decently dry, and southerly winds about 5 miles per hour. That'll be giving us more of those chances of some clouds into tomorrow. High pressure helping us out for the time being. Keeping things very calm and dry. We do have this next storm system on the way, sitting over portions of the area of the Missouri and the Mississippi River valleys. The one thing really to take a look at here, very important, is that with this entire system, let me zoom out a little farther so you can see, there's barely anything with moisture around here. The main energy of the storm system, that area of low pressure, that's going to be scooting off to the east. So we'll see less chance of anything involving thunderstorms coming on through. That'll be the best potential north of us. There are the potential of some thunderstorms coming through as that front drops through the area. But I think the rain chances right now, we're just really not looking at a lot of activity. Some of those clouds dropping through the area ahead of that front, but that might be, for some areas, as much rainfall as we get. You can see the showers all the way back along that front from roughly about northwest Arkansas back through about Chicago, Milwaukee, Lake Michigan. That, again, with this front coming through, that is going to stir up some more showers and thunderstorms. We'll time things out for you here in just a little bit, but that is about the potential of the rain we're going to be getting. It does not look like much. Now, for Friday Night Football and everything afterwards, things are looking pretty good. We'll show you that in just a little bit, and we need the rainfall. Take a look at the mid-Mississippi Valley down to the Gulf Coast area, looking at some exceptional drought conditions there. We are seeing less in the way of major league problems, but we're kind of halfway up that list at this point to where we're down into the severe category. That's for a good portion of the area. This graphic you're looking at from the U.S. Drought Monitor from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, this is about a week old, so this is pretty old data. We should see the update coming through within the course of the next 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So we should see that tomorrow. We'll see how much this increases or decreases. So that's something to take a look at. Again, as long as we see this drought situation shaping up, and you saw how far behind, about 5.5 inches behind on rainfall for the year. As long as we have this drought situation shaping up and we don't start getting into just the dry conditions that you see in yellow or less than that, no problem with dry weather, we're going to see some dangerous portions of the area, some dangerous conditions for the area as we look for the potential of more wildfires to start off. Excuse me. Again, with the Sportsman's Forecast that we showed you a little while ago, very important to make certain that you do not do anything untoward with fire or flame. Now, again, about 20% of what you're looking at here is agricultural fires, especially all this stuff going on back toward the mid-south, southeast Missouri, and eastern Arkansas. Plenty of rice fields here, and at this time of the year, the farmers start burning off the stubble and everything that's left over. So a lot of this is actually agricultural, pre-planned monitored fires. A lot of the other stuff you see here, about 80% of all these are brand new wildfires. And when you see this much peppering the map, that's a lot going on in just the last 24 hours or so. Where we picked this up. So that means we're looking at dangerously dry conditions where a cigarette butt tossed out the window can start a major wildfire and quite possibly become a threat to life and limb. So this is not something to be messing around with at this time, to where the potential is there. All it needs is a dry lightning storm, spark from a welder, cigarette butt. This is where we have to be very careful, because we may see more of this going on. And if you saw a report about what's going on down in Georgia a couple of days ago, with some fires well up into the hills of the Appalachians and northern Georgia, just continuing to burn, but very difficult terrain to get to. What we need is a big soaking amount of rain coming through, and we're just not seeing it anytime out there. Early tomorrow morning, lower 40s, maybe a few upper 30s, a few more clouds tomorrow as well. By dismissal time for the kids on Thursday, could be some scattered showers out there. Not looking at a lot of activity for now. Could be the potential of some rumbles of thunder back to around Middle Tennessee and South Central Kentucky. That's, again, the best we see for tomorrow afternoon. By tomorrow night, Thursday night, News 12 at 11, and then overnight into Friday morning early. That's the best potential of showers and thunderstorms making its way through. That'll be the best possibility. And as you can see, it's not concentrated. We're not seeing a huge amount. There is no threat of severe weather that we can see at this time coming in from the Storm Prediction Center. So that's good news, but we need a lot more than this to help out. It's a good possibility that if it's all very hit or miss, we may not see any rain in parts of the area and just a speckle or two of rainfall here and there, and that's going to be about it. And that's bad news where our fire situation is concerned. Now, skipping ahead to Friday night football, a lot of people out and about for Friday night, dismissal time for the kids. There is still going to be the possibility of some light showers, maybe even a thunderstorm over toward Knoxville in that area. But notice the rest of the area to the west of all that rain is clearing out, and I think right now this looks a lot better than what it did just even 24 hours ago. So as the time between forecast models gets closer and closer, as we get closer to the date in time, it's a lot easier to see what may be happening in our general direction. So that is the good news we have. And as we go into the weekend, we'll see for early Saturday morning back in the 40s and 50s. And then going into Saturday afternoon, a beautiful day coming up back in the mid to upper 70s. That is going to be about as spot on normal as you can get, excuse me again, for this area of the country at this time of the year. So the weekend looks good. We may see some breezy conditions out there. I'll show you that in the 7-day coming up in just a little while. Beyond that, it looks like we're going to be seeing some decently warm conditions over the next several days. Won't say record high temperatures, but just a little warmer than what we have been, and expected to be maybe a little bit above normal, but record highs might be a little bit difficult at this point. For precipitation, things are starting to look better. And we're talking about the very decent far future, end of the month territory. That's where we start to see more potential of rainfall. That is where we get the best potential coming up. So what are we talking about when we look at this? Going into Friday, again, we still see that potential of showers, maybe some thunderstorms. Greatest, I'd say, by about early morning Friday. And then we start to clear out very easily from Friday night into Saturday. So that in and of itself looks pretty good. Now we go way far into the next several days. Some pretty good activity shaping up west of us, as it looks like high pressure off the East Coast will be circulating in some moisture-rich air. Most of that stays to our west, but we start to see that potential of rain getting closer to us as we get into around the weekend. Next Friday night, and the potential for maybe some weekend showers. This is very good news as well, because as we get into Halloween, So far, I don't really see any major problems with Halloween coming up. So for the ghosts and goblins wanting to get out and about, so far, again, I'd say things are looking good for Halloween coming up in about 2 Tuesdays. So Tuesday the 31st, a little bit beyond this map right here, that's where we see that potential, hopefully for rainfall going away, because we all know how uncool it is to be Darth Vader or Tinkerbell or whatever and have to carry an umbrella and a flashlight at the same time. Flashlight you can use any point, but it's always great to be able to have that opportunity to make certain that you're able to stay dry and look good in your costume at the same time. So something to think about. All right, 7-day forecast. Here we go into the next several days. Don't see anything really major. Windy conditions, choppy on the roadways. I don't see any problems with anything going on in the way of wind advisory, which is 40 miles per hour plus. Drying out for the weekend. Lots of good opportunities for outdoor activities Saturday and Sunday, and then some more clouds coming our direction by next Wednesday. And way past this forecast toward the last weekend of October before we get into Halloween territory, that is going to be the best chance for rainfall that we've got for the rest of the month, and that is going to be pretty much all she wrote for rain. This has wound up becoming a very dry period of time. Temperatures stable, not seeing a lot of ups and downs, a little cooler by next Monday, but otherwise back in the upper 60s to lower 70s for highs, 40s and 50s for low temperatures. There is really just not a lot of change coming on through here, and we need something really pretty dramatic weather-wise to change things out for us, and that usually involves what could be a leftover tropical system. Nothing in the Gulf or around the East Coast or down into around the Bay of Campeche or the Western Caribbean. Nothing showing up there. Meanwhile, way back off to the east, Tropical Storm Tammy moving its way to the west. Pretty west-northwest steadily. It looks like it's going to remain a tropical storm and taking that right-hand turn as it passes the area around Puerto Rico. That little dot that you see, that black dot in the middle of the ocean, that's Bermuda. So it looks like it's going to be passing Bermuda well to the east. But also, what we are not seeing at this time, yes, it is heading basically to the west at this time before it curves its way back to the north. If this were to get closer to us, remain a tropical storm, and then hopefully start falling apart, if this were to move our direction, that would be wonderful. That would make up for a lot of rainfall. We are just not going to be seeing that at least according to the National Hurricane Center. So definitely some good news on that for everybody. The T-name storm, we've only got a couple named storms left over before we start reusing the alphabet, and we still have the potential of some very good conditions for development out there. The waters of the Gulf, the Caribbean, and the parts of the Atlantic are still way too warm for what they should be at this time of the year. Climate change doing that to our oceans, and that is where we could see that problem, giving us again more potential of storms into later in the season. Storm season, tropical storm season, hurricane season for the Atlantic comes to an end December 1st. So we still have a month and a half to go before we finish things up. It's going to be a little bit, so now's the time to make certain we stay up to date as to what is going on. Don't forget that we have a meteor shower coming up later on this weekend, starting Friday night into Saturday morning. It's not a huge shower, 20 meteors per hour. That's not great. That's one every about 3 minutes. The Orionids have been known to have occasional meteor storms, more than 100 to around 1,000 meteors per hour every few centuries. So the possibility of this really flaring up doesn't look great this time around. Remember to look for the constellation of Orion, find those 3 stars in the belt, look to the east, southeast, and watch around Betelgeuse, the red giant star in Orion's shoulder. Watch that particular area as it rises, and the meteors will seem to fling from out of that particular area. So that'll be the best place to actually watch what may be going on. So a good opportunity to see that. Introduce your kids to astronomy. Again, that's coming up this weekend, Friday night into Saturday morning. Find yourself a dark sky place well away from city lights for the good viewing there. Another astronomical event you can go to is coming up next Sunday, the 22nd, at the Clarence T. Jones UTC Observatory Star Party. That'll be held at 10 North Tuxedo Avenue. Love the name of that street. In Chattanooga, gates open at 6:30. Lecture on volcanoes in the solar system starts at 7, and telescope viewing available until 9. Weather permitting on this, so we'll keep you updated on that. More information on their Facebook page, or go to utc.edu and search Clarence T. Jones Observatory Star Party. Tomorrow at 10:19 a.m. on 10/19/23 is the Great Shakeout. It used to be called the Great Central U.S. Shakeout, focused on New Madrid Fault area over toward the Mid-South. Now it is just the Great Shakeout, and it's for anybody and everybody to learn about earthquake safety. At 10:19 tomorrow morning, on Thursday morning, where's your safe space? Where would you go if an earthquake happened right now? For me, it would be under this particular desk that these microphones are sitting on top of, or behind in the kiosk area over here. It would in the studio, big, large places, again, very open places like gymnasiums or box stores, cafeterias in some places, not the place you want to be because that structure going on. So thinking small, thinking very low and very tight, someplace that you can get to in a hurry should shaking commence. It's not only about earthquakes too, even, it's also about the idea of just being prepared in general. If you're not at home and we have a disaster of some proportion, earthquake, major severe weather, communications blackout, people can't get to where they need to go to because the roads are snarled. It's the kids at home and you out someplace else and you can't communicate with them. Do your kids know where the can opener is in the kitchen and how to work it? You think a lot of people have accused me of fear mongering over the years and trying to stoke panic. That's not panic, that's being prepared. That's what the Boy Scout motto is all about, and I'm an Eagle Scout, so I should be able to tell that to everybody pretty easily. Tomorrow, again, is your best opportunity to really think about what to do to get ready for disasters before they happen. Earthquakes, severe weather, God forbid, a terrorist attack. This is something that we need to consider beforehand. How much food do you have at home? How much spare water? How much water do you have in your canned vegetables that you could drink should you not have any more drinking water? Can you communicate with the outside world? If not, who do you contact if you can get a hold of someone outside of the area? Who do you check in with? A family member? Maybe your friends and family will check in with that person or people in your family and will be able to get in contact with you by proxy. That's something to really consider. So again, winging it, taking care of things when a disaster happens is not the thing you want to be doing. Before it happens, that's when you want to be planned ahead for it. And if you want to be critical and say, oh, you're just trying to stir up trouble, it's never happened to me, therefore it'll never happen, that's optimism bias, and that can get you killed. So that is something really to think about. If you don't want to believe me, fine, but I won't be the one running about screaming and shouting, losing their head, keeping my head while all others are losing theirs. Famous poem, kids, ask your grandparents. That, again, is where we see the time to prepare beforehand for anything. That's now, and this can help you. So tomorrow at 10:19, participate in the Shakeout. You can find out more about what other groups are doing by going to shakeout.org to see what other groups are planning for an event, for public awareness, for whatever else. This is a great opportunity, again, to learn about that. On that same note, if you would like to learn a little bit more about what it takes to be ready for severe weather, this is also something that you should consider doing. News 12 has a page that you might find handy. If you have a weather radio, Now is the time when nothing is going on to program your weather radio and get it ready for the next severe weather round. We're going into storm season number 2 in the next few weeks, from late October through about early December. That's storm season number 2 in this area of the country, when the atmosphere gets a lot more energetic thanks to the change in seasons. It helps to have the counties you want to be covered programmed in. This is a little computer system running this radio, and you can tell it what you want to be alerted for. You're going to be that much more prepared than if you didn't have it and it just kept going off for every single thing for every single county in and around a particular area. And I mean, we cover, for News 12, we cover a very large area of counties in 4 different states. So knowing where you are, first of all, this is a very good idea to keep in mind your location. And then secondly, have it programmed in here so that when the warnings happen, you can tell where exactly the warning is for, just to be on the safe side. So that's really neat to have that. So please consider going to our website, wdef.com/weather, and get that ready to go. And any and all of this you can find on my social media pages, so check it out online at various locations. Hit me up for a game of chess at chess.com or lichess.org. Would love to know more about what you're thinking out there. And don't forget, almost forgot, I have to thank our morning producer, Christine Arnold. My wife had a skeleton in her science classroom she called Bonaparte. So Bonaparte there, just resting his old bones and getting some much needed sunshine out there. What else is a skeleton to do? That's our semi-spooky, semi-sunny West Shore home weather window picture of the day from Christine Arnold's Boneyard. If you've got pictures, please send them in to us, and we're running low. We could use a lot more, so go ahead and send them in to us as soon as you possibly can. On our social media pages, drop them there, or go to pictures and send them to pictures@wdef.com. We'd love to see what you're seeing and show everybody else about it. And we take your pictures and we post them to social media. So go ahead and send those in as soon as you are able. We'd love to see again what you might be seeing out there. And yours could be the next West Shore Home weather window picture of the day. Think that should do it. Live on Twitch and Facebook, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek from Chattanooga, Tennessee, USA. This has been our exclusive video weather blog, Weather Overtime, for Wednesday evening, peak of the week. Thanks for joining us on here, and stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and, of course, online at our website, wdef.com/weather. Chip Chapman will be along bright and early on Thursday morning to let you know what's going on, and I'll have more details on the forecast coming up tonight on News 12 at 11. Thanks for joining us for Weather Overtime for Wednesday, the 18th of October, and stay tuned for more with News 12, again on air and online. Thanks for joining us.